let her introduce herself. Okay, all right, we're ready. I'm gonna shut up.
Yeah, okay, so I'm Renate. I'm in third year at AA. So the last year I chose a completely different unit that focused more on, it was a landscaping unit, focused more on film and sort of narrative that one can project onto a site. So our site last year was predetermined. It was the Isle of Mull, and our brief was to explore, like since the beginning of the year, was to explore the site just for our perception of it, and then also research it from our first kind of ideas about it. So I started the year by looking at abstraction and different narratives that one can form around a site that they don't know or they aren't familiar with, which later on led me to looking at folklore and mythology of the island. It's an island in Scotland, which meant that there are some archival documents of the folklore of the area, but they aren't very extensive. So I worked closely with an archive that was in Tobermory, which is kind of the main town of the island, and explored what kind of mythology they have preserved there, and then mapped all of the places about which there was a tale or a legend or a myth, and then went to all of these places and explored it in my film. I will not show the film here, but in the film it's a narration-based film where I kind of explain my thoughts behind how a perception of a place can shape our perception of it, and then how different people can then influence that perception, and then how the narrative shapes over time because of that. And so I was interested in that philosophical and theoretical background of folklore, and then relating that back to the physical artifacts that I can find in those sites, which are related to different mythologies that are around the island. So it was interesting for me, for example, in this map, to have both the myths, which are the text on the map, and then have the physical artifacts that are associated with those places, and kind of have that relationship. So from there, I was thinking about that archive that I visited, and how the folklore was preserved. And it was preserved it wasn't preserved like the mythology, the text of the myth, that wasn't preserved. There was only one document that had like a PhD of some student from a couple of years ago that actually examined the folklore of the island. And so I learned mostly about the folklore from one book, and then from my conversations with the people that I met along the way. So from there, since many of those mythologies that I've been hearing, that I've spoke to people about, they were quite conflicting. And so for my proposal, I was thinking how to relate that back to the act of archiving, and how can an archive function as a different entity, one that doesn't preserve only the facts, the factual information, the dates, or the financial transactions, or the clans or families that lived on the island, but one that preserves also the speculations one has about the island, one's memories, ideas, and perceptions of it. So I was thinking how different artifacts of fiction from those tales that were told to me by the people I met, how can those add on to the island? And so my proposal is a continuous scan of the island that would happen in specific times throughout the year, and that would capture sites as they are physically evolving, but also evolving in terms of people's perceptions of them. So here it's one of the sites. It's called the Ballasgate Chapel. There is a chapel. There are ruins of the chapel right now in that place, but also, so just to illustrate the way the archive would work, it has the ruins of a chapel now, which is the physical artifact that is there. A couple of years back, in 2008, I think, there was an excavation taking place. So all of the kind of artifacts, physical artifacts that were used in excavation would still be there. And then also it had, so this is the chapel, and also the people who were doing the excavation, they proposed that this, I don't know if you can see my mouse, but basically this part, like the faded away part behind the chapel, they proposed that that could be that could have been another part of the chapel that isn't there anymore at all. So they made speculation about what could have been there, and this is the way the archive would work. It would combine both the physical artifacts and the speculations one has about the island. The same process is here. So this is a landfill, but this is a landfill about which there is a myth. The myth isn't about the landfill itself. The landfill is there now, but the myth, I don't remember the myth now, but like it was a myth about a stone, and so the stone, of course, isn't there anymore, or like nobody can pinpoint where exactly it is or which stone it is exactly. But the fact is that the stone is a speculation about what could happen in the landfill then. Then another site is the pier, where there were one of the, what was his name? I don't remember. Mendelssohn. He was visiting the island of Staffa, which is near the Isle of Mull, and so he made an overture after he visited Fingal's cave, and so this is relating to that. Also, with the piano as an artifact of fiction. And then I know this is a jump, but this is my this year's work, where, yeah, this is quite a jump from last year.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so I'm in a different unit now, but a completely different unit from last year.
Different vibes.
So we're looking at technology, and I started the year by looking at standardization and how the meter, the second, and the byte were used as, and are still used, not so much as tools for democratizing the measurement and like democratizing everything around measurement of time, measurement, or data, but they were also used as kind of double agents in a way for military purposes. So, for example, with the meter, the definition of the meter was commissioned by France in the 1790s, right after the French Revolution. And so it was said that it would democratize all of the different measurement systems that are in France, which I think there were around 40,000 different measurement systems at the time. And so it was said that it was something that would make it accessible to everyone and make it democratic. But in a way, it did that, but also because France was colonizing many countries at the time, it was also used for military purposes. So it was in Algeria specifically, for example, it was used for redefining property boundaries based on the new definition of the meter, and of course it was done in the favor of the colonizer, so France. And so from the historical research, I was looking also at the byte and how that since it was developed everything around computer systems and sort of the computing was developed and computing technology was developed in the US in late 1950s. I was looking at the history of, for example, IBM, and then how all of those companies that are now the tech giants, they were actually working with the defense industry of the US, and, for example, developing ARPANET, which was the first version of the internet, or developing technology that would be used in the battlefield afterwards. So that thread between standardization and military innovation was quite close, and that relationship was quite close. So that's what I was interested in. And specifically, I was interested in DARPA, which is a branch of US defense
research.
Yeah, US defense agencies industry that has been exploring for a long time innovation research for military purposes. So DARPA is the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, and they are part of DoD. Their first headquarters were in the Pentagon, and so that explains how close they are to the DoD now. Yeah, and this is one of the films that I did in the beginning of the year in Unreal, where I was looking at DARPA-funded research, and one of the branches of the research, besides, for example, the neural implants, biotechnology, and like physical things you can use in battlefield, they also do research around narratives and how they can detect misinformation narratives, propaganda narratives before they get too widespread. But also that goes both ways. They're doing the research looking at how narratives work, but also they can be doing research in the opposite way that benefits them as well directly. So how can they influence a group of people? So learning from those narratives that have become widespread. And so this is all of these spaces that you see here. They are based on the command and control center pictures that I could find, and also they're based on the specific aspects of those research papers that I looked at that were exploring narrative, like topics around narrative production and narrative detection. So yeah, this is more about the historical research behind it. And then I also specifically looked at how can one counter the technological innovation that is done by these huge countries like the US. Like specifically, I looked at Houthis and how they are using soft media and mass media to counter certain narratives and craft their own narratives. And I guess in this portfolio, since it was like I do want to send it to research practices, since I do want to send it to research practices, I also wanted to include more of my like essays and like research papers that I did. So yeah, so I kind of want to balance the visual that I have visual skills in terms of rendering and like, I don't know, drawing, Rhino, anything, and then also that I have the research skills. Then another film that I did is also in Unreal. It was about an office. Not that interesting, but I just wanted to include that just to show that I have some Unreal skills and modeling skills.
I think you should show that share the videos as well. It would be really nice.
But yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah. Another Unreal film. And then this is some of my other work that I have been developing together with other people. Last year, I was co-teaching. I was assisting with teaching at the summer school here in AA. So that's my work from there. So besides teaching, which involved, we looked at we looked at Vienna, and we looked at how film shapes Vienna, and so the narrative forensics around that, and how a narrative is constructed around the city, specifically from the film, and specifically from film and the way it is depicted in film. So specifically, me and one other person, we worked. Besides teaching, we developed our own set of models that we used then to develop a film around Vienna, around the ways in which Vienna is depicted and the ways in which different perceptions of a place can be created through film. So this is all within like my last year's mode of thinking. Yeah, and just to show that I have some physical modeling skills. Yeah, and this is, I guess, the last kind of page, another essay that I did, research-based. I guess I don't want anyone to I don't expect anyone to read all of this, but I just want to show the variety of skills that I have, and by including essays and everything, I think I can do that. Also, right now, of course, I have more work than this from this year. I have more plans and more drawings and more maps that are much more precise, and I want to incorporate them into my portfolio, but we have exams in 2 weeks, so it's a bit intense right now.
but we got a crit, like a technical crit.
Yeah,
coming
this
week.
Friday.
Yeah,
And another one in 2 weeks.
exactly.
Yeah, but I guess that's it.
I also want to add something about our brief, because I think
Yeah.
it's more
Okay.
more understanding. And so our course structures as 3 terms. The first term is kind of purely research. You're kind of
Yeah.
constructing like a research document that's exploring different stakeholders, how the different precedents influence your technologies. And the reasons why I mentioned the culture technology is also because our focus is how technology shaping the culture, like this kind of the power of image making.
Yeah.
And so we focus on how different technologies shaping the understanding of cultures. And also, so the whole first term would be used as kind of constructing like a research document, and also a film as well. And the second term will be internet design, and third terms we will doing more like design finalization.
Like more refining. Oh, we have our designs kind of ready.
Yeah.
It's just that in third term we'll be refining the design a bit more and then doing kind of the branding around it.
Yeah.
So also the unit is quite heavy on the way you present your drawing and the way you present yourself in exams.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you know, but in AA all of the exams are, it's called tables. So you present your table, which is your work. You have your keynote that you just on the TV, and then you talk about your project with a script to a panel of other tutors that get randomly selected to be at your tables, exams. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
I can stop sharing my screen.
That's really okay. So we have something to look at. That was really cool. So is the one about the meter and the bytes the project you're working on this year, like that you're about to do your tables for, or your exam?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, a really nice portfolio. I think the whole chat was like, she's master's student, right? Or like, it's like, it's really, I mean, that's the AA. Like AA is really impressive, like research and like narrative. Yeah, it's really, I mean, it's really nice work. I like the first project, your last year's project as well. Yeah, Kelvin, you have any questions? So yeah, what's your like proposal then for this year's work? Like, how are you kind of concluding the research and like tying up into a design proposal?
Yeah. So since I was focusing on DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, my proposal is a new office for them, which will be a distributed network of office spaces within the Dallas Technology Corridor, which is a technology corridor. It's called a technology corridor, but like in real life, it's just a set of offices that are quite close to each other, and those offices, almost all of them, are like really close to the Department of Defense, and they are the contractors of the DoD. So my proposal is a set of workspaces within that, which also speaks to the way I will present it is through one employee that will not have a name but will have a number, and it will be kind of in contradiction with the way in which DARPA speaks, which is more about the general army or the general military personnel. It's focusing on one specific person, what they're doing in their day, how they're traveling through the corridor, and also because it's a distributed network of offices, it will be relying on cars. So my guy, like the guy who's gonna be the DARPA employee, he will have the Ford F-150 car, like the most popular car in America, white.
God's plan.
And then you'll be traveling through the corridor, stopping at gas stations, stopping at the mall, all of these classic American locations, and like riding into the sunset on his way back home, like everything.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
The media is film.
Yeah, the medium will be like by the end of the year, I'll have an Unreal animation together with some like actual shots. Like I want to film a person making a employee that will be
Cool.
doing all that work.
Yeah, it's definitely like a really interesting like. Yeah, have you read Techniques in Civilization? Like it's
No.
I don't know. Me and Kelvin have both read like the start of that book. I mean, have you read the whole thing, Kelvin?
No.
But it talks about similar things to you with regards to like measurement of time and how that changed like the whole kind of structure of like mapping in society, and it was like very similar to how you were speaking about the meter being like this tool of like the kind of colonial instrument.
I think, okay, I just want to, I don't know if it's just me, but I think maybe I just don't have enough experience like listening to full projects, because I'm
Kelvin's confused.
Yeah, I'm a bit confused because I understand it, because when I watch me explain my portfolio, I get kind of confused as well. I'm like, fuck, how do people understand any of this? They probably don't. So I'm just gonna ask if you could possibly just clarify in a few sentences of maybe the first project, the second year project first of
Let's talk about the third year, like the current stuff. It's like I feel like it's more.
but it's tied together, no?
No, they're two different projects.
Completely?
Sort of, yeah.
I don't mind, I mean whichever one. But the third year project of just I guess
Like a summary.
yeah, you have the concept. So one part, one sentence about the concept, one sentence about what you're actually like designing or proposing. Just for me to get a better idea.
About the third year or the second year?
Third year.
Okay, so I was looking at standardization. That's what I was researching, and I'm proposing a new set of offices for DARPA, who are kind of in control. Sorry, like everyone is laughing about me in the studio right now. Then I'm proposing a new set of offices for DARPA. That's it. And last year I was looking at kind of what information is archived right now and the only archive on an island. Then I was proposing a new archive. It's quite simple.
May I ask what do you mean by standardization as the concept?
As in, like, it's like the same thing as like time becoming measured in Techniques and Civilization, where like you have like.
Oh right, okay.
It was like because it was like France had like 40,000 systems.
Yeah.
of measurement.
Oh, it was byte, right? The byte
Yeah,
system.
yeah.
And then the France.
So
Right.
were you learning from like how the meter influenced like culture and society, and then like trying to extrapolate that or like apply that model to the byte as like maybe trying to like sort of understand how the byte has like shaped society as like a tool of standardization?
Well, yeah, but also like the why ARPANET. So the first version of the internet,
Mm-hmm.
it was kind of developed by the U.S. Department of Defense.
Yeah.
So the byte has a very close relationship to the way in which the military operates now. And since right now, the military industrial complex is increasingly relying on sort of new tools for digitizing the battlefield, the environment of a battlefield. They are even closer to like using the bit in everything, in every aspect of their lives.
Yeah, cool. Do you find, this is like out of curiosity, do you find it like difficult to, because like sometimes I find this when I do loads of research, it's like how do you start like translating that into designed like architecture? Like it's so, sometimes it's because it's such a cool rich project, but like I have no idea how you would like
No, it was painful.
yeah,
It was, like,
it
super
sounds like
painful.
super like it's like almost too dense of like where do you even start like designing within all of this? But it's a really cool project. So what is your like the office you're designing now? Is that like does it like subvert any of like the processes of this guy and his like daily routine?
Yeah, so the proposal is kind of a Trojan horse. Like that's the way I would describe it quite simply.
Classic.
It's I mean that's I think the only way it could have went. Like I'm not here to like say how the military is great and doing great.
Yeah.
Like,
So what are like
guys.
what are your methods of like subversion? Like what are your like how are you kind of upsetting or like Trojan horsing like with your architecture? I'm just like curious. It sounds really well done.
I'm in the process of designing the office, but also you have to my drawings here. But basically
It's yours if you want.
no.
Okay.
But yeah, so I'm in the process of designing these workspaces, and all of them will be discrete and integrated into the infrastructure of the technology corridor, which is near DC, like it's in Virginia.
Oh, I see. Cool.
So it's very close to all of the superpower of the US.
Yeah.
And so my proposal is the workspaces that are integrated into the infrastructure and that are very discrete, which also speaks to the fact that how like intertwined the military-industrial complex is with our daily lives. From the internet to all of the surveillance technology to the other types of technology they're developing, all of it is influencing the ways in which we live. Like DARPA was the one who made the precedent to Siri. I think even like the mouse, like the just like the computer mouse.
Exactly. I think there's like because we haven't, not everyone in the units has presented, but there's like if you check all the because I'm doing like research about Google Street View, and if you're going back, it's actually still like adopted by DARPA. It's the same kind of military background.
So much of the technology has been developed by the military complex, so that's why I'm focusing on how the office is discrete because of how intertwined the military industrial complex is with our daily lives. I'm focusing on one person to basically counter the way DARPA is speculating about the future of the military. The office also goes sort of designed the route for the worker, and it goes historically to the corridor in the way that DARPA would present their projects. So they're going historically to the advancements of technology or advancements of Virginia and the way they're integrated right now into the proposal. So taking all of those narratives and like the way DARPA speaks about them, but just using them as tools for design.
Yeah, it's quite similar. Like I don't know if but it's similar to Kelvin's project in a way, like a little bit, because all of our tutors this year are from DIP 19. Like they're the ones who take DIP 19 in the AA. So I feel like we've become like AA brained in the last like 6 months. But the technique that they use, because they have a very similar approach, it sounds like to your studio, where like you do this really heavy research into some like techno-political condition, but then the kind of technique they have for resolving that research into a design is they usually research like a techno-political condition and then some sort of ritual type or some like situated like I don't know, some people in our unit are looking at like indigenous practices, or Kelvin's looked at like ritual practices of prediction in like Mesopotamia and stuff, and what they do, they try and like hybridize the current techno-political like rhythms with these like ritual rhythms, and like somehow in the like hybridizing of these two things you start creating like I don't know, interesting, like you start like pushing and pulling like how people relate to these massive things, because it's so difficult to like resolve a relationship as a society to these huge like structures of like technology or like the bit and the byte. Like they're such huge concepts and they're so like integrated with our daily practices. And I think it's like a really good like the program for your building seems really good. Like you're having this office space. I think the cool thing for me, but this is why I think it's similar to Kelvin's, is because Kelvin's project, he's taking like like the whole culture around quantum computing these days, and he's trying to like find moments where you can start bridging that with like public perception of technology and of computing. I think that it's a similar relationship you have in your project with like public perception and secrecy and then like what goes on within these offices. But it sounds like you're on the right track for a cool project. And the portfolio, like just technically the portfolio looks nice. Like it's very like nice images, very AA, very neat, very like.
What gives it away?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Kelvin, you can go.
All right. Okay. I'm gonna ask a few more questions first, just to get the idea. So DARPA creates a lot of standardized units and creates standardized objects and things for the country, and which kind of dominates the world in a way. Is that kind of what DARPA does?
Not like they don't do specifically, like they're not saying like, oh, we're gonna develop this standardized system. They're developing technology that then gets so widespread and so massively used that effectively it is standardized. Like ARPANET, like the internet, everybody uses the internet now, but it was developed by DARPA.
Okay.
Yeah.
And okay, so DARPA develops things that are widely used, so widely used that they become standardized. Okay. Yes.
Also, what sort of feedback do you wanna hear? By the way, what do you think would be the most useful thing to?
I think for me, since I want to apply to like research-based practices, like forensic architecture, I want to hear more about the portfolio and how I can make that more like suitable for those types of for those types of firms and practices and videos. And then also
Oh no, I'm just saying like forensic architecture. I feel like I don't know any forensic architecture firms actually.
It's called forensic architecture.
There's quite a few. Like that's like a whole field. Like architecture. Like
you're talking about the firm, right? Forensic architecture.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant like your. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So okay, basically, what I guess you must have more visuals, right? That you kind of just like have videos or something that you're not showing today. Yeah. Okay, because basically I'm lacking the architectural translation of your research.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So basically, how does what you said, the standardization of it, which I understand, then how are you studying that as an architect? I guess you've created visuals of renders, but they're kind of isolated, which I guess you are trying to bring them more to a connected place. But because they're so isolated, I can't really tell I can't get an image of what DARPA is and what kind of spaces these people work in. Are you saying that you're studying the spaces that make these people design these technologies? Is that the connection you're making?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So I think it would be really cool to kind of see them on a grander scale of like the building. Like the desk, definitely you have like one scale of it, which is the close-up scale, the small zoomed in scale. It would be great to see a medium scale of like the room that they work in and then the building that they work in. And then even better will be just great to see the surrounding site that the building is. So whether they work on a very hidden place, like somewhere in the hills or like underground somewhere next to the ocean, or like they're in the ocean, I don't know. But it'd be great to see where these people go to work. And then you can start building a different version of that, which then becomes your like day in the life image. But I guess it's just that I'm missing those sequence drawings. And I think DARPA, the standardization, very cool stuff. This is very great research. I am very understanding this from a very surface level, but I'm just thinking whether you could make the connection a bit more clear. Like why, what is it that about those things that they make that makes them become standardized? As in, like, are they just that good of products? Are they distributed in a certain way? Do they have certain backing by certain powerful people? Are they like funded in a certain way? Do these countries have a strategic relationship with how they deliver these things? Do they deliver it to this country first and then the other country and then the other country? How do they advertise it? So what makes them great things that get standardized? Like, why are these things standardized rather than kind of DARPA standardizing kind of the exact reasons that you find? And I think this is also great for forensic architecture because I just had a rough look at their website. So I knew about them from third year as well. And what my tutor recommended for me to look at them was to make charts, literally just to make very boring charts about what you're like studying, which I think could be useful to include as well. So just very boring stats on the things that you're looking at, like how many offices in the building, what kind of equipments they have, how many of them, how many people goes to work, how long do they work? Because I imagine if you work at corporate, you're actually not in a dark room. You're actually in a very boring, generic place that actually makes you feel like you're doing a very, maybe it's like kind of like Google, like you're doing fun. Because I can imagine if you work for a high-paying job like this for the government and stuff, like they want you to keep their secrets. They want to be loyal. Like, what's their strategy to make an architectural space that makes you stay wanting to work for a company that's kind of clearly somewhat shady somewhere in how it runs? I guess not shady, but like very secretive. But like even in FBI headquarters, does each office look like secretive, or is just like the idea that they form is secretive, but like that's more subtle for the people to experience there? Like, for example, the Apple campus that kind of was my reference this year, where even the Google headquarters, even though Google controls so much and they can do anything, and the things that they work on there are top secret. They can't leak anything that they're actually working on. But their offices are some of the most inclusive, like open, chill places you can be. There's like waterfalls, and there's like pods where you can sleep and stuff. So I imagine that their office does not actually reflect the image that's not even the image that they're trying to show. I guess in like secretive image, that their office might not exactly be like that. So I don't know what you can reference of like places you can visit. Maybe Zhao said you guys went to CERN. So how did their office look like, I guess?
Yeah, I think that's definitely a good point as well. Like for me, like just having those other scales within the portfolio would really help. Just like contextualize a lot of the research, or like just it's like a really easy thing to grab onto, where you see like, oh, here's a plan of like the office, or here's like a site. Just these sorts of things that like while you're talking really help. Like kind of ground out the research within space, because the close-ups are really like cool and convincing, but I think like plans, sections, these sorts of things would be really useful.
This is like, I feel like your drawings so far are more like an outsider's vision of what DARPA looks like, and then you can have that as one thing, and then have a realistic vision of an actual DARPA worker. And then you can have those two versions of the things at the end of what you're proposing, of maybe they become closer combined, or maybe they become farther apart, depending on what you propose. Like maybe the outsiders still think it's even more secretive, but the actual DARPA is more happy, or like less happy. Maybe they become closer, maybe they become farther. So you have two iterations of these things. I kind of just question whether they actually work in dark rooms that actually look very secretive. So.
I'm assuming you've seen Severance.
They don't actually. Yeah.
So that was a cool show, but it's like very similar thing to what Kelvin's talking about, like the way the company like portrays itself internally versus externally. I think those relationships are like super key. But I think from a portfolio standpoint, just like making sure every project has like a very clear, like this is what I'm doing at the start, and then like a conclusion of like this is what the project ended up in, like a little bit of like like a beginning, middle, and end for every project, just so that it's like it's kind of clear. I mean, I think you've done that with the first project. It's just and this one's like halfway going, so it's kind of hard to say, but just making sure you're working between the scales. and just having very clear drawings, like site plan, like even with the Isle of Mull one, you had the map of Mull, but even just like contextualizing that within Scotland, these things just like are really useful.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I know that it's really research heavy and stuff, but maybe just like as you research, just draw little diagrams of how like what you're looking at, so that it's more of like a flow of all of these different research pieces, and you're never really staying on one page for too long. So you can get, because you have talked about, you know, the history of standardization and stuff like that. It'd be cool to see, because you talk about how it goes from such a small unit and then spreading it across the world, or going from one country to another country. So visualizing that as you do research will give you naturally this idea of like one thing leading to another, leading to more and more and more. And by drawing that as you sketch, then you have more of an idea of like maybe thinking about DARPA's process in this, and having to visualize it not just as one interior space in DARPA, but in many spaces as it takes over other places. How does it affect those other places and other things like that? But I think really amazing research.
It's really, you know what? It's so impressive.
Really fun topic.
Like like the actual, just even the subject.
That's
I mean,
true.
it's like an A. I don't know if it's just the AA, like really strong,
really good stuff.
But like, for the undergrads, you'll be doing like projects about cheese or something, and this is like,
you know, missing on cheese.
But the problem is, no shade, of course, but the AA buildings always end up being like little sheds. Not good. Like, it's like a funny, like the Bartlett seems to have like shit research, good buildings.
Oh.
Yeah, AA is like amazing research, then like a shed at the end.
Why are you listening to them today?
That's so typical. AA.
You know what I mean?
Well,
Yeah.
you know, it depends on the
Fancy.
unit.
It depends on getting it.
I think you should check out our project review website. Like, it's not just little sheds.
No, I actually love sheds. Like, I think like I would love to design an actual shed, and I think I'm designing kind of like I genuinely love sheds. So I've no complaints, and I love the research steps. So
he's got the gun to his head right now.
no, genuinely, I enjoy it, and yeah.
No, but it's fine if you don't. Like, I actually don't enjoy architecture.
Hey, now
so,
you're
like,
making them think I don't like sheds.
I'm just kidding.
Even though I do.
Obviously, that was a massive generalization. But yeah, but that's because I think that the thing is, it's like when you have such dense research, that's what I was saying earlier, it's so hard to like bridge that into like where do you even start with like making it into like some built form? And that's why I think like Brendan and James, the people who take us, and Maria, who do DIP 19, like their method of like hybridizing seems to be like a really good like starting point for at least for us this year. It's been quite useful for like bridging the gap between just like abstract like theory and then actual built form. But you know,
I think as long as you're kind of drawing while you're doing research, it would naturally kind of keep you somewhat thinking about like architectural drawings and stuff, which is helpful.
Yeah, but
Also,
also
this-
think like,
like the side point, I think the more research you do, like the more just like black pilled you get on the world. Like I get like so just like, but there's just no. You just become really cynical as like, and the architect becomes this like kind of, I don't know, and it just becomes like, fuck it, just take the shed, take the shed, and like, you know,
Cool. Is
like,
there any?
honestly, design a shed if you want it.
Yeah, let's not focus on the shed. Forget about the shed. It's not about the shed. But yeah, is that helpful in any way? Does that make sense in any way?
Yeah, but I do guess that like the point where I'm struggling at is how to visualize the research.
Oh.
And if you have some references for that.
Yeah.
I think more plans and sections.
Yeah.
W shed.
I'm sad.
In the chat. More plans and sections I think would be really helpful. Because like obviously you've got a skill with the 3D stuff and the rendering, and it's pretty convincing. But I think like as Kelvin was saying, like what's the value of having you in an architectural position doing this research instead of like a sociological?
Yeah, but I don't want to be an architect.
Yes, you don't want to be an architect.
What do you want to be?
Like I want to research.
Well,
But research as an architect, or
You
just
know
like just research?
This is not Kelvin does research. This is Kelvin does architecture.
That's architecture.
No cap.
No, I did actually have a breakdown last week with my tutors where I told them that. So they told me to like do a, I don't know, plan for each one of my sites, each one of my stops where my guy stops.
Uh-huh.
And I said to them, I don't understand why I should be doing this. Like, I really don't want to do architecture. Like, I don't want to do these plans.
Well then you're fine, right? Like I think your portfolio looks really good, and if you don't want to be an architect, then just keep doing stuff in Unreal. I don't know.
Yeah, like, why not?
Yeah, why not? Should like it and go for it.
What sort of do you want to like do
I
academic?
mean, you can do research in Unreal. That's completely fine. Like
Yeah.
draw plans.
Well,
in Unreal.
I would say
Shoot
Blender.
it through.
Model
Yeah,
the,
that's what I
model the
figured
whole
that's-
thing. Like model Corpa in Unreal, the entire thing though, like the building, the room, you know, in different scales. It doesn't have to be like plans or anything, but
Yeah.
Yeah. I did draw the plans though. I had to.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's so
sure.
quick though. I mean, yeah.
But as in reference, I can only reference myself because we're doing such similar things. I don't know if I guess Zhao hasn't put you on yet, but I'm doing a thing on technology and stuff, and I've been drawing plans on research, and that's how it keeps me drawing. And I think what you can do better than what I did is not just draw. I only drew the rooms that they were in, these technologies. You can draw the things that are also outside the rooms, and I think that will make a big difference. So yeah, just take mine as the first step, and then you can improve on it. And yeah, plans.
The diagrams looks great.
Sorry.
Yes, your diagrams looks great.
Ah,
As
thank
soon
you,
as you draw
sir.
some of the diagrams, yeah.
Yeah. You gotta force Renate to watch my videos. Give me some likes and views.
I did actually. When I was applying to AA, I watched your like Bartlett video.
Yeah, exactly.
I was so depressed afterwards. Like, I literally thought I wouldn't get in anywhere.
Nah, you did good stuff.
Hey.
But yeah, watch the most recent one. That one's just my project. Lots of plans. So yeah.
Yeah, give it a like and subscribe as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit of self promotion.
And maybe go ask Ben Folks, like if he's upstairs or something. Mr. Bronze Medal Ben.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm
Bronze
sure
Medal
he's
Ben.
got the best advice in the world. So I wouldn't even talk to him. Just go ask Ben. just hit Ben Folks up whenever you see him. He's probably dripped out in Naturiax. Fully waterproof fit.
Yeah.
And
There's not a
easy to
drop of water.
recognize.
Hey, no.
Clean.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a clean man.
He's a clean man. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, well done. I think it's yeah.
Yeah.
The whole chat is like, this is post-grad, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Cortex shoots.
And it's like it's better than a lot of
Guys, can
research.
we get a W Renate in the chat, please? W Renate. I mean, this is the most meaningful thing in life. Is getting W's. Is getting W's to your name. That is the most important thing.
Let's
I
go.
think you guys should come to AA. Come, we have a party every.
Yeah, we got
We
party.
have a party every Friday.
Yeah, free beers as well, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this week, but like we'll have an Easter party for sure.
Are there other people in the room?
Yeah.
Can you expose them?
Come, guys.
Hello.
Oh my
Eh,
god.
Where's your Oscar? Coming.
Yeah, if anyone wants, I would love to review anyone's project, but it's your turn now. Yeah.
Let's finish our TS jury, then
Yeah.
go for it.
We have
Yeah.
our I don't know if you guys know, but we have like our studio, which is like DARPA stuff in my case. Then we have in third year we need to have our technical studies like project,
Yeah.
the book on the technical aspect of our studio project.
Yeah.
So we have a jury this Friday.
This Friday.
You guys
So
do
that's a-
all-nighters?
Actually don't.
I sometimes do, but not really those days.
Yeah, I think I've only done one all-nighter throughout the whole of
The
AA.
first year is crazy.
Yeah, first year.
The first
That
year
was
is
the first
crazy.
Yeah, we had a guy on chat yesterday that said 3 days no sleep.
Yeah.
He said he's done 20 all-nighters since New Year's, which means he's only lived for 2 months. He's only been sleeping for 2 months.
Is he still alive?
I mean, he's not in chat today.
Survive.
He's not here today.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's
Maybe
good.
ask him how he is.
Yeah.
Renate, amazing work, Renate. The diagrams, we didn't even get back to those ones, but those are really good, the ritual and stuff. So, yeah, very nice drawings.
Yeah, good
Crazy
portfolio.
detailed, so lovely stuff.
Crazy.
That's very forensic architecture. I think they will love that. So,
Yeah.
Thank
Do a
you.
lot of
I
scam.
applied for the job. Like they had the researcher position open.
Oh wow, good luck.
oh, I was gonna say something.
Sorry, I'm just looking in the chat. Sure, just ask me if I can.
Your friend.
Why is
So I
Jack not
applied for
popping
the
up?
job, but they told me they need a master's degree for anyone who applies.
Oh, what?
So that's
Let
the
me
first
apply.
criteria.
Yeah, Kelvin
Yeah.
wants a research.
Well, I don't
job.
want you to be my competition, so like maybe
I'll
next year.
deliver your CV when you finish. But damn, so I guess not. I guess what are you gonna do now? No forensic architecture. Are the other research positions you're looking for?
So
I guess it's
that's
hard.
what yeah, it's hard. Like I know,
Superflux.
yeah,
Superflux. Quite nice.
like yeah.
Yeah.
But also I was looking at more of like work and work, like Emergence magazine, the practices that like editorial practices that do research but also do publishing. So it's like both of my skill sets combined. So that's what I'm also considering. And then I was also looking, I kind of have like a plan for the summer where what I'm gonna do, but that's not full time. And so besides that, I want to volunteer somewhere. I think I want to volunteer at Airworks, do the research, and then try if I want to, like if I want to continue it, and then actually apply to forensic once I finish my master's. But I'm also not sure if I want even want to do my master's in architecture. So
Research architecture.
Yeah.
Smith.
yeah, I think I'm going to Goldsmith.
What about your professors? Like, do your tutors offer any jobs? Are they gonna help you anyway? No.
We asked them
Yeah.
nicely.
Yeah. But they don't have like visa sponsorship because they don't have.
No.
Like, yeah. They
No.
don't. They are just like.
Our tutors are very, very, very nice.
Yeah. They're
Like
really nice.
actually, I'm really enjoying the unit.
Oh, damn. Yeah, I want to do research as well, and like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So, if anything, I'll go work at Foster's.
Start our own practice. Like
Yeah.
I think we have the skill set.
Yeah. Hopefully, I don't know. Yeah. No, research is good, and yeah, I agree with you. I enjoy research, so yeah, cool. Please, yeah, Renate, test out the water. So let me know. If there's anywhere that takes us.
Okay.
Amazing.
Okay.
Well, thank you guys so much.
Yeah, nice to meet you guys.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
guys,
Kelvin.
more W's,
Thanks,
please. More
man.
W's for Zal. Good friend,
Let's
W
go.
friend. Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
let's go.
Oh my God, Joanna.
Hey, Joanna.
No,
What?
no.
It's not the same Joanna, right?
That is the famous.
Oh yeah, that is
Go.
the Joanna.
Our tutors. Do you know that Joanna?
Oh, wait,
our
no,
tutors
no,
name
Div,
is
that's
Joanna.
our Iwana. No,
Okay,
sorry, not
alright.
I thought you were talking.
Oh my god, because our tutor is Joanna as well.
Never mind.
Oh
This,
shit.
is this Iwana?
You know what? Hello. No.
I'm actually
How do you
traumatized.
like you?
Oh
She's
my
gonna be
God.
so happy. Oh.
Who were they talking about?
Their tutor.
Wow,
Oh.
that is so rude.
Yeah. I'm traumatized.
Yeah.
Oh.
That
yeah.
is so funny. Why do I keep getting cancelled? What?
Oh, all right. Thank you guys.
Yeah, enjoy your evening.
Yeah, enjoy
Thank
your
you.
evenings. Thank you. Wait, Renate, can I show this on Instagram, or is This has been too mean. I don't actually mind that. Let me think.
What are you gonna say? Are you just gonna cut clips from this video?
No, honestly, I'm literally gonna say pretty much the same feedback I gave to you here, because I really think what we talked about is like, I guess if people are doing research and like, I think it's helpful to people, you know, different scales kind of stuff. Like I'm not gonna just, I mean, if there's certain things you don't want me to say, I can obviously not say it, but I would just be saying it.
Censorship.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say the things that I've said in this meeting.
Okay, but I think
W share.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I also think if you do a video, then you should mention that I don't want to be an architect.
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
Maria, come say it again.
He's probably not still there.
Hello, Ben.
Okay.
Ben, you still here? Bronze medal Ben. Bronze medal Ben. Hello, Xiuhui. Yeah.
There's no.
Okay, fine. You can try.
Okay, cool. All right. I will try to keep it very like serious and like yeah, it seems like yeah, okay. Yeah, sounds good. Oh,
Big
Ben
shout
too.
out.
Okay. All right. Thank you guys so much. Yeah.
Thank you.
W Renate, W
W,
Zhao. All right.
W Kelvin, W Finn, let's go.
W Finn. All right. See you guys.